everyone. Hi, I'm Sydney Young. I'm the president for Paris Community Theater this year, and we want to welcome you to Avenue Q 101. I've got these two gentlemen in hot seats. You have questions about Avenue Q, and we have answers. So, Will, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. I am Will Walker. Hello. I am the instructor of drama and musical theater here at Paris Junior College, and I am the director of Avenue Q.
And Josh.
My name is Josh Maxwell. I am the office manager for Paris Community Theater, and I'm also just a big proponent of the show Avenue Q. I absolutely love it.
Okay, so first question. Every time I ask anyone who's seen Avenue Q about the show, they get this big grin on their face, and they just say how wonderful it is. What is the deal with Avenue Q?
Well, Avenue Q is essentially Sesame Street for adults. It is puppets, humans side by side, interacting with one another, and it's, in all extensive purposes, a cute show. Now, with that being said, however, it is not for small children. It is truly for adults. And that's, I think, why most people get that grin on their face, because they know that it is Sesame Street for them. And it does tackle real-world issues, has a lot of adult situations and language and things of that. And it's a lot of people who know the show know the songs, and a lot of the songs are very, very specific for the show. So I think that's just one of those things. I mean, I do it all the time whenever I think about the show. I just sort of start giggling to myself, and it's like, yeah, it's cute, fun, hand puppets, and things of that.
Okay, let me just ask the hard question. Is Avenue Q X-rated?
No. It is not X-rated. There is no nudity whatsoever in this show. Actors are fully clothed. There is a scene in the show where puppets are having sex, but they are, one, not anatomically correct, like a lot of people think they are. They're not. They're just literally felt puppets. And it is a scene that is so fast and so quick, it happens very fast, that you almost miss it. It's just, when I saw this show professionally in New York, it happened so fast that you laugh through most of it. You don't even realize that it's happening.
That kind of brings the question. What is it about the puppets and the adults with the puppets that makes this different? Why does Avenue Q do this?
Puppets can get away with a lot of things that humans can't. Avenue Q uses humor in a way that I've not seen any other show. You open the door so much to the positive messages that they're sneaking in between all these laughs, because the audience is literally rolling in the aisles laughing.
Okay.
Well, I'll touch on that with puppetry, because in this show they do use the puppets through the whole show. And the audience at first you do see the actor and the puppet, but then suddenly you shift your whole focus to the puppet and you completely ignore the actor. And as Josh mentioned, puppets can get away with a lot more than human beings can. So when adults or young adults are seeing this show, they're watching puppets tell you about these issues. And you tend to walk away with it as opposed to shutting yourself off from it, because it's a puppet. It's furry, it's cute, it's got big eyes, and it's like Sesame Street. And these puppets are but they're touching on real world issues. And honestly, Sesame Street did it when they had a puppet character who had HIV. And it worked. People are receptive to it because it's a puppet, it's a cute puppet, and you tend to fall in love with them.
It's not as scary.
No, not by any means. There's Kate Monster, and that's her last name is Monster because she's a fuzzy monster. There's Trekkie, who's the big monster, but they're comical, they're cartoonish.
So, what do you think the underlying message of Avenue Q is?
Acceptance,
tolerance.
Avenue Q does not slide away from any subject that it brings up. They take that evening to address alcohol, education, homosexuality, sex, love. There's nothing off limits for Avenue, and that's the great thing.
Does it promote those things?
Not by any means.
No.
It promotes tolerance. But as far as promoting engaging in those things, no, because it shows you the good and the bad sides of all of those things.
Well, and I've heard it also just promotes, hey, this is really happening. How do we live in this world? How do we get along? Which brings us to an interesting thing. There's a fundraiser that happens. Tell us about that.
Built into the show itself is, within one of the songs, is literally the characters ask for donations. And usually the cast and crew and artistic staff pick a charitable organization, and any monies they collect during the show goes to that organization. So the show really does try to help promote, these sorts of organizations to show that, they're important, because a lot of Avenue Q touches on a lot of these things. The lead character, puppet character, is right out of college, and he's used to the college life, and then he's thrust into the real world, and he's not prepared for it. So it's important that people come and see this show, because it does, especially with the millennials and the people who are graduating high school and going into college and graduating from college, they're a 2-year college to a 4 to a whatever. It's important that they come and see it, because there's this false sense of, I know what's out there. And then when they burst through those doors thinking, ha ha ha, I've got my diploma and now I'm going to go get a job, and it's like nothing there for you. And they're not prepared for it. This show really kind of touches on a lot of those issues and how the world is not a perfect place.
So we fundraise because that's going to help us deal with this, right? That's kind of built into the show.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Who's our fundraiser going to be for?
We've decided Big Brothers and Big Sisters is a very appropriate charity to benefit from this show, and it's focusing specifically in Lamar County.
So we're going to get you information on how to learn more about Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and then each night that the show happens, there is actually a fundraiser that happens in the show, and Big Brothers and Big Sisters has told us that they're going to give us information at the theater as well, and we'll have it on our website and everything. So we're really excited about that. Now, I have a couple of questions that people typically ask me, because I'm a parent of teenagers. They're still both teenagers. So people come to the theater a lot and they'll say, can I bring my child to this show? So my answer in that situation for Avenue Q is, of course, it's always up to the parent. I don't think that it's appropriate for children. That's my opinion. We do say that you cannot come unless you are how old?
You have to be 16 or older, but
to have an adult.
16 you have to have an adult.
Then also for teenagers, I'm going to encourage my teenagers to come to the show. I'm going to leave it up to them if they want to, but just think about what you expose them to on a daily life. If they're homeschooled, they probably are not ready for this. If they're in public school, I guarantee you they've seen all of this, and it might be a great opportunity for you to be able to actually talk to them about it. That's the way I like to parent, but it's up to you. So also nighttime TV, if you really let them watch nighttime TV, they probably are watching things that are going to be done on stage. But the interesting thing about theater is that we have content, there's context. Something about theater brings those conversations, don't you think? So I think if you let them watch Glee, South Park, Family Guy, and any of those shows, Pretty Little Liars, they're going to have been exposed to it. So that's my answer there. And then my last question for me is, why are you, as a sponsor, sponsoring this show? And I'm so excited about it. It is edgy, kind of like Vagina Monologues was edgy, but that show had such a great influence among so many people. And I think this will with the millennials. I want to tell you a story. When I was in college, I had a really good friend. His name was Norman. And he had many of these issues that Avenue Q talks about in his life. Unfortunately, he didn't really have anywhere after college to go to talk to people. So within 2 years after college, he committed suicide. And I think this show can make a difference in people's lives, just like what you said. So my sponsorship is for Norm and for anyone like Norm who needs a laugh and needs a way to think about what goes on in real life, even right here in Paris, Texas.
And I want to say that we invite you as community members, if you have questions that we haven't covered in this little video, please ask us, because we would love to answer them for you. You know, because if we can't answer them if you don't ask them. And we're willing to share every bit of information we have with you concerning the show.
Well, and I also think it's important that we say, let this be a conversation piece. That there's no point in us doing it if it does not spur conversation, and that's really what we're hoping to do. So, as Will and Sydney both have said, contact us. We're more than willing to speak with anyone about it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
You live on Avenue Q. You live on Avenue Q.